Welcome back to Unleashed, Unfiltered, and Unapologetically Human with your host, Julie. On today's episode, honestly, we're just gonna have a little brain dump. What's been going on within the last week or two? A lot has changed, as well as just stuff that's going on in the world. So today is just gonna be pretty chill, just talking about different things that's been going on, and yeah, let's get started. So, first things first, within the last month, I have gotten injured like twice. I was recently in a car accident as well as I burned my hand. I got a second-degree burn. I still healing from my hand. My back is a lot better. I ended up having to go on leave for a little bit just to not only mentally but physically, and I'm feeling a lot better, to be honest, as well as just being able to focus on myself and not have to worry about everyone. And it's been pretty great. And so there's that. And then I in that time of me being on my leave and stuff, I was watching the Queer Ultimatum season 2. And oh my goodness, I am just I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. With my biggest issue throughout the whole season was Dana and Megan. My goodness, if you've watched it, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to give you a little spoiler alerts. So, if you haven't watched the whole thing, definitely click out of the podcast. But for those of you who have watched it, this is the first time I've ever watched this show, and I started on season 2, and oh my goodness, this couple, at first I was rooting for Megan because she was being honest, she was being upfront about everything that was going on. And then Dana's over here being all sketchy with Mel, and both of them deserve each other, to be honest, with their narcissistic asses and for them manipulating their partners. Like, oh my goodness. I I was triggered throughout all the episodes, and for Dana to just be lying throughout the whole thing and not being honest with Megan, and her being butthurt that Megan said that she fell in love with Haley. And then for like Dana to basically tell her that no, that's not true. Like, that's not you. And then for her to manipulate Megan was crazy. Like, you're doing this shit. Why don't you just admit it? Like, your girlfriend is admitting everything that she's done. Obviously, that's the whole process of the whole game or whatever. And for you to not to just be honest about it, that was ridiculous. And it was just, oh my goodness. I had to pause it, and me and my girlfriend were just going off because we're like, what the fuck? Like, Megan, how do you not see the bullshit she's giving you? But whatever. With the other couples, I feel like for example, Ashley and Marita. Ashley, come on, like, just give your girlfriend some flowers. Like, romance her a little bit, like, every now and then. Like, that's literally all she's asking. Like, that's the most simplest thing that you can do. It's not that hard. Like, come on. Like, even the most smallest things. Like, she just wanted flowers. Like, you could literally buy like $20 flowers at the grocery store. And based on Marita, like, that is the most, like, that would be the hugest thing for you to do. Like, I don't know how, like, why that was such a big issue. And then for the ending, for basically both of them cheating on each other, whatever the case is, like, that was crazy. And honestly, I did not like, I understood Marita being very upset about, everything that happened with Ashley, but for her to basically tell her, like, I don't give a fuck if your, I think it was her grandma, dying or something. Like, that was fucked up. Like, I get it, you're angry, but at least like be nice about that part. Like, that was fucked up. And I don't know. It was just their whole, I mean, honestly, Marita, she could do better. And I've been seeing that she's been hanging out with Mel, and I'm like, girl, do not fall for her shit. Like, you need to be with somebody else. Like, literally, you could be with anybody else, but don't be with Mel. Like, like all these couples do have a lot of issues that they need to figure out in themselves, and especially for Mel. And I was very upset. So at the ending, when um Dana and Mel met up to kind of talk, at least to like talk out whatever issues they had, um I give Dana props for her telling Mel, like, if you are not wanting to propose to your girlfriend, don't do it just because she wants it. Because it's not going to end well, and you're going to end up like hating your girlfriend because you weren't even ready to be engaged. And lo and behold, like during the reunion, they're separated, and like Marie is pissed, which I understand, girl, like go off. But also, I think she should have been a little bit calmer in being able to like have a conversation instead of being like so upset. But I understand the anger because she did, like, she invested like her whole self into Mel, and for all that shit to happen, and for her to basically get Marie's hopes up with proposing to her, like, yeah, you just don't do that. Like, I've had that experience in my life of somebody proposing to me and them not ready to settle down and be in a marriage. And so, like, it I understand the anger that she has, but I feel like since it was like a year later, I would have hoped that she would have been able to have the conversation a lot better. And I feel like she still has a lot to go through, as well as to settle within herself, as well as just with the relationship. And I also want to talk about AJ and Brittany. Oh my goodness, when they came back together, I ain't gonna lie, with AJ, she's a huge flirt. Like, she's just a flirt. She's just the normal lesbian flirt that, like, you can't take too seriously because they're saying the same thing to multiple girls. But for Brittany to basically tell her at the dinner, like privately, of like how AJ was complaining about not being good enough for Brittany, and because Brittany's, having this career, she's bringing in the money and like all this stuff. Like, mind you, Brittany's doing it because it's for both of them. It's not just for her. Like, she's thinking about both of them in this. And yeah, mind you, she should have been able to have that work life balance, which obviously I think they worked on within them coming back together. But I feel like Brittany's such a badass for her to be like, okay, stop talking about it and just do it. Like, get your shit together, basically. I honestly loved how honest she was. But like, at the same time, it's like she was honest, but she kind of shut down AJ's feelings, and AJ's not really a person to really talk about her feelings. So I feel like in that instance, it wasn't appropriate, but then again, I feel like that was much needed for AJ to realize that, look, everything I'm doing, my hard work, everything, it's for us. It's not just for me. I'm trying to build a life for us. And like, that should be more appreciated. And I'm glad that, Brittany's working more on her work life balance so she's able to spend time with AJ more and not feel like AJ's her second option, or that she's just going to pick her business other than AJ. So I'm glad that they're doing better. And next, I want to talk about, let's see, Kyle and Bridget. Honestly, I feel like they didn't get a lot of screen time to really figure them out. But I feel like Kyle honestly had a lot of like issues in herself with being just confident and being able to create those boundaries, like especially with the whole thing with Pilar trying to like make out with Kyle. And I feel like they could have I feel like Kyle could have created those boundaries better, in which I understand of how Bridget was saying that like what is what's the off chance that like you guys are out in a club or whatever and a girl just comes up to you and like are you going to be able to be like, hey, no, like you need to step away from me, like don't be like all up on me. Like she is basically concerned about the boundaries that Kyle is making, which I completely understand. I've definitely had that issue too of like not my current partner, but my past relationships of can I trust you to be able to like hang out with friends that are girls and having that trust in you that you're not gonna go fuck around with them or you're not gonna like kiss them just because they're, trying to push themselves on you. Like I understand Bridget's concern about that, and I really do hope that Kyle is able to have that confidence in herself as well as that respect for Bridget, because Bridget was just like a saint. She was very honest. She was just very trying to focus on the whole point of the whole experiment, and I think she did pretty good. Honestly, I loved her. And on how she curled her hair so perfectly, beautiful. So, and then with Haley and Pilar, that with Haley, I'm happy that she was very honest and everything. And it's very unfortunate that Dana was acting the way she was towards Haley, as well as for Megan to request that Haley apologize to Dana. Like, what the fuck? Like, what in your right mind thinks that like you think that Haley's gonna apologize to Dana? Fuck that. Like, how about Dana apologize to fucking Haley for being just an asshole? Like that. Oh my god, that was. Ugh. I was so pissed off at Megan. After that conversation, I was like, fuck that. Like, I don't like Megan anymore. Like, she needs to figure out what the fuck she's doing. And unfortunately, she's not aware of the manipulation that Dana is doing. And, hopefully down the road she does. But, if they work it out, they work it out, whatever. But man, that was just ridiculous. And with Pilar, I feel like 10 years of like not wanting to marry Haley, like that's crazy. I I would understand if like at first like in the beginning of the relationship, Haley was just like, no, like I don't think about marriage, whatever. But if that was something that Haley already talked to Pilar about, but Pilar wasn't ready, like I get it. Maybe a few years, 5, 6 years, cool, whatever. But 10 fucking years, a whole decade, and you still aren't ready for marriage. And mind you, like not everyone, like not marriage is not for everyone. And when I say that, I mean like I feel like when it comes to marriage, people expect like this cookie cutter, like this is how marriage is supposed to be, when in reality, like marriage is however you and your partner create it. Like, it's not going to be the same as, let's say, our older generation, how it was like the mom was home, took care of the kids, dad went to work. Like, it's not going to be like that. I mean, if that's what you want, that's up to you. But I feel like, especially with Kyle and Bridget, how they they realize that, well, at least Bridget realized that, you know, their marriage, it doesn't have to be however Kyle's parents think it should be. They can create their marriage however they want. Honestly, in even some cases, marriage is just a certificate, a piece of paper. Like, your relationship shouldn't have to change. The only thing that's changing is the legality of everything. And so I feel like a lot of people just forget that, and then, like, once they get married, they're like, "Oh, okay, whatever." And then they stop like dating their partner just because they're married, like, "Oh, this is the finish line." Like, that's it. And for me, honestly, I don't believe that. I feel like you get married for the legality of it, but as well as having that promise to that other person. And sometimes it doesn't work out, but I feel like it doesn't work out usually because of the fact that there's a lot of issues within each other that they're not ready to deal with. And because of that, it causes, headbutting with each other, because one person sees the issues of the other person, but that person isn't willing to change or willing to work on it themselves. Because, like, with any relationship, like, you could be toxic. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I've had my toxic tendencies, but I have been willing to, like, realize that and then try to change that in my current relationship. And she has done the same way as well, which I am very appreciative of, because we know that we have our toxic tendencies, but being able to realize those and be able to be like, hey, this isn't okay and we need to fix this, or this is not going to work. Like, having those difficult conversations is very important in not only just marriages, but in just relationships in general. And so I feel like with a lot of the relationships, it was basically that miscommunication, or not even having the difficult conversations of what's going on in, like, their head, or it's like ego that is preventing them from having these conversations. So I'm hoping, like, I give hope to these relationships, and I can only hope that they're able to get not even get over, but be able to heal from, like, any trauma, any, like, issues that they have with themselves. But you know I ain't gonna lie, Dana, she was on the top list of someone the way she manipulated the fuck out of Megan. Like, it's a shame. And I've been there, so I can't give her too much shit, because I've been manipulated as fuck with past relationships. But girl, I am wishing you the freaking best. All right. So, since we kind of talked about, the queer ultimatum a little bit, we're going to kind of slide to learning to heal with past traumas from relationships. I I've had a lot of trauma with a couple of my relationships that I've had. One of them would It's been almost 3 years, but my ex-fiance, he unfortunately dealt with a lot of mental issues, depression, and unfortunately his family wasn't as supportive, and they weren't willing to change their behavior, or at least be able to talk to him and acknowledge the things that he had to experience growing up and stuff. And because of his past trauma, he created a lot of issues between me and him. And I got to that point where I just couldn't deal with it anymore. There's a lot of issues, a lot of just hurt that was going on between me and him. And I decided to leave him. And unfortunately, a few days later, he did pass away. Um, he committed suicide, and I was the one that got that call. And it was very traumatic because with our last relationship, like, or not last relationship, our last conversation, like I was telling him, like, honestly, I have things that I got to work through because at that time I still wasn't talking to my parents because of my issues with them. And so I was really alone. I was going through a lot of emotions. For the last like 3 years, and it was a lot for me. And I told him, I'm like, I have a lot of things that I have to get through, but as well as you have a lot of things that you have to get through as well. And like, I love you and I do care about you, but I feel like us being in a relationship right now is not, it's not good, it's not healthy, and we both need to get help at this point. And unfortunately, you know, things happened the way they did, and it's been almost 3 years since his passing. I do have a lot of I have PTSD from the whole event and everything. And going to his funeral and stuff like that, it was very hard because it created that trauma of, if I leave somebody, are they gonna is it gonna happen again? That's the stressful thing that I've had to deal with and had to be able to go to therapy. I've actually been going to therapy recently, and having to deal with that, it's hard because this wasn't the first time that he's tried to hurt himself. And unfortunately, he did go through with it. But I have gone through a lot of shit when it came to other relationships that I've had after him, in a way that having to explain why it hurts still, that I have some mental breakdowns because he's gone. And it's not that, like, I wish he was back so I could be with him. Like, that's not the case. It's more of like, he was a human being and he did have a lot of issues, but I would have wished that he would have actually gotten help. And I feel like he could have gotten like a whole career. I would have wished the best for him. And so sometimes it is very difficult for me, especially on like anniversaries, like his birthday as well as the anniversary of when it happened. And I a lot of people don't talk about just just the day to day of having to think about or blaming yourself for things. And I was going to group therapies, and realizing that there are other people that they're either, if it was like a son, daughter, significant other, that it was like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and they still have to deal, like, they still have those emotions, they still feel that emptiness. And so it was honestly really nice to be able to go to those group therapies. And so if you do have a person that passed away or whatever, it is very beneficial for you to be able to go to group therapies, because unfortunately, no matter how many times you try to get somebody to understand your point of view with everything, they will never understand unless they've gone through it. And I've realized that because of how many times I've tried to explain myself of why I'm feeling this way and why do I have these strong emotions, as well as learning like my triggers of what things that have triggered me. Because you will never know your all your triggers. Like they just whenever they come, they come. And learning my triggers and learning how to process them better, I have been able to better identify like what is it that I'm upset. Like if my partner does something and I get upset, I'm able to quickly or more I'm able to identify what is triggering me faster than when I used to. I'm able to really be in tune with my body and my emotions better. And with everything, no one's gonna understand everything that you've gone through or the whole like all the emotions, all the anger that you go through with losing somebody like that. And so for all those people that have lost somebody, just know that you do not have to explain your emotions. Or let's say you have a bad day and you're just bawling your eyes out because you have one of those days. It happens. You you don't have to explain yourself to nobody because those are your emotions. They're 100% valid, but definitely lean on there's many websites and stuff that you can check to find support groups to be able to have those conversations with other people that completely understand where you're coming from, like understand like the feeling of guilt, of anger, of sadness, of just one day you're just bawling your eyes out and the next day you're just you're okay. But just knowing that there are other people that are experiencing the same thing, it's unfortunate, but it does help a lot because with people that have never dealt with that, I feel like from past experiences that they kind of make you feel like you're crazy. Like, why can't you get over it? Why can't you get over it already? And I've gotten that from my exes, and honestly, fuck them. Like, actually, fuck them. Because your feelings are valid and this is going to stick with you for the rest of your life, whether you like it or not. And if that person isn't able to console you and being able to just support you, and even if they can't understand what you're going through emotion wise or mentally, for them not to be able to just, let's say you just need to be held while you're just bawling your eyes out. Instead, you're just getting like, why can't you get over it? Like, oh, this is tiring. Like, if you have that type of relationship, honestly, fuck that person because this is a lifelong battle that you will have to endure, unfortunately. But you, after years and years, you are, and if you actually go to therapy, if you actually like work through everything that's happened, eventually you'll be able to deal with those emotions, but at a lesser reaction, I guess you could say. And so, like, instead of like breaking down crying, like, it's gonna happen, but you don't cry as much. You feel sadness, of course, but it's not gonna hurt as if it was like yesterday. And so that is a big thing that I really wanted to kind of explain to people of like, yeah, you don't have to understand what they've gone through, but to at least be understanding and be able to just be there to hold that person, be able to just like let them talk and talk them through their feelings. Like that is what will help you heal. But if you don't have that person in your life, it will make things worse. And honestly, it makes you feel like you're fucking crazy. But if you go to these group therapies, you're like, oh, like this is normal. Like, okay. And that's why I'm very appreciative for the group that I have where I live, as well as just having a therapist be able to talk me through of like different coping mechanisms. Because mind you, I've gone to therapy quite a few times because I do have a lot of other trauma from, my dad, from, my childhood or whatever. But having a therapist to be able to help me with other coping skills really does help a lot. And mind you, therapy isn't for everyone. It is only if you're ready. So I'm not saying that therapy is the key, because not sometimes not everyone needs it. But definitely having your support system is very important in that whole process. And just to remember, if they're not being supportive, if they're not helping you and they're just telling you that you need to get over it because it's been so many years, honestly, fuck them. Like that's my response to that. Fuck them. And I am very appreciative for my partner that I have now, because we're both healing from our past relationship. It has been a fucking struggle. We've had many days of us breaking down crying, of being so upset because like what the fuck. And I'm really glad to the fact that we're able to support each other and we're able to understand each other's emotions a lot better, and not being so reactive when the other person's upset. That is the biggest thing that we have honestly worked through. And now our relationship is so much stronger. It's so much healthier in the way that we're able to identify like our toxic traits that we might have and be able to talk them through, like actually have a conversation and not like, oh, well, you're wrong. Like, no, like I'm gonna let you talk and have this conversation and like talk to me about what you're going through, and I'm gonna listen. And that is the biggest thing that has really helped in our relationship. And honestly, it's become so much stronger. I'm very proud of her, of the progress she has made in her life. And I give her so much props for everything that she's gone through with our past toxic relationships. And, I know that in the future, we're focusing on ourselves as well as just focusing on our like happiness and what makes us truly happy. That kind of goes with, going into like me going back to school. I got into the university that I wanted, and I just finished my first week of school and I'm doing great. I got straight A's so far, and I'm wanting to become a therapist. So I think I'm like 40%, or I think like a little bit, maybe like 30% done with my degree, only because I've had other college classes. And because mental health has been really part of my life, my whole life, with family having mental issues, me and my depression, anxiety, PTSD, as well as other relationships, I've decided that I wanted to kind of put that into practice and being able to help other people. And I also there's a few things that I want to kind of focus on once I get my degree, is not only mental health, but more in the veterinary field because of how toxic this field is, as well as being able to help people with PTSD from, family members, partners committing suicide and everything. I really want to focus on that as well, and being able to create those groups and help people process their emotions better, because I'm very appreciative for the group that I have, and I want to be able to help other people get through it because it's fucking hard. And your family can help you and support you as much as you can, but as if you have people that have experienced the same thing, it gets a little easier being able to process things and being able to go through, all those emotions that you might have with that whole situation. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I've gotten a lot better with my communication as well as being able to identify a lot of triggers that I have, as well as just the realization of like things connecting, of like why I might feel a certain type of way. I am becoming more in tune with my body, with my emotions within the last year, and being able to focus more on myself. And mind you, like, I'm not saying that I don't focus on my girlfriend. Like, we work really hard for the relationship that we do have, and we worked really hard through our issues. And I'm not saying that like we're perfect already, like, no, like we still have some stuff that we got to get through, but we have been able to be more patient with each other, and us being able to focus on ourselves has really helped. And being able to figure out like, who is Julie, who am I, without everybody's fucking opinion, without all these expectations that people have. Like, who is Julie, who do I want to be as a person? And so I'm very happy with the progress I've made, and I'm also very happy with my girlfriend. She has a long road that she has to get through, of course. Um but I I'm very proud of her, of the process she has gotten through. And you know we're just kicking it. We're continuing to work hard, continuing to just go through life without all the stressors that we did have in the past, and being able to just be at peace in our home that we've made. And yeah, so that's where I'm at, relationship wise, healing wise. Within that whole healing myself as well, I have also kind of figured out of like how I want to be as a friend. My best friend, me and her have had like little quarrel, like, not fights, but there are some times where like I get so wrapped up in like schoolwork, with my relationship, with stuff that's going on at work, that sometimes and I will admit, because I'm not a perfect person, I've neglected to be able to, have that attention to my best friend. And we've had our conversations and been able to be like, me able to identify like, hey, I'm sorry that I have not been, more attentive to our conversations, and I am definitely working on that. I literally, my attention span is like a fucking squirrel. But I'm really appreciative for the friendship that I have with her, because she has been supportive of me, as well as she is that type of friend that she's not going to just side with me just because she's my best friend. Like, that's not how she is. She will call me out if I'm like being an asshole, or if she's like, yeah, I kind of understand the other person's view. And which, sometimes I ain't gonna lie, I'm like, you know what, that's fucked up. Like, what the hell? But it does help me to be able to see both sides of whatever that, I'm going through. And so I my friendship with her, I feel like, has gotten a lot stronger within the last year. We literally almost talk every day. She is my she's an amazing friend. We've been friends since high school. She's probably the longest relationship I've ever had, intimate wise and friendship wise, which is crazy. But she I couldn't ask for a better friend. And I honestly, even just friendships, there are always things that you need to work on. Your friend is always going to be there, but they are as well human. And being able to just have those talks with your friend, and having those serious talks, I feel like, is very beneficial for not only your friendship, but as well as just becoming better people in general. And so I'm very appreciative for my little small circle that I have, because I honestly would not be here without them. They have helped me so much mentally, physically wise. Like I couldn't ask for a better group of people that I have. And as much as it's really small, it's that's all I need, because I honestly, within the last year, I've had a lot of dark days to the point where I honestly wasn't wanting to be here anymore. But they have really helped me in trying to be supportive in everything that's been going on. And I wouldn't be where I'm at right now without them. So, shout out to my girlfriend and my best friend. I love you guys so much. And to more years of craziness and just being supportive. Also, shout out to my best friend because she's becoming a doctor, a veterinarian. Woo woo. So, hell yeah. And so, with everything, this whole past year has been just me learning who I am. And I have learned a lot better of being able to speak up for myself, which has been an issue in my past because of feeling like whatever I said didn't matter, or that I was too young, or, oh, you're just a child, you don't know what you're talking about. And so I have been able to speak up for myself, not only work wise, relationship wise. And unfortunately, sometimes I feel like me doing that, I to some people might sound like I'm like this asshole, or that I'm like, this bitch or something. But honestly, I've been so nice for so long, putting so many people above myself, that I deserve this. I deserve to have more respect from people. I deserve to have my boundaries met. And if you can't do that, then I'm sorry, but I'm not even sorry. Like, you don't have to be part of my life. I don't care. And so I have learned a lot about myself, what I will and will not put up with. It takes time, and I'm still working through it. I'm still, learning and stuff, but having that support system and being able to learn who you are is very important in growing. Like, I am a 24-year-old, but I am still growing. I'm still learning who I am. And there's a lot of growth there. You're going to change no matter how old you are, but making sure that you have that support system. And you don't even have to have a big support system. Literally, my support system consists of two people, two, three people, and that's about it. And but the thing is that we're all trying to figure out life. We're all trying to, be supportive of each other. And I'm very happy with the growth that has happened. And, I'm going to continue to grow as a person. I'm going to continue to change, and, but as long as I have the people behind me, and I I know that I'm going to become an amazing therapist, and I hope to help many more people through just the difficulties of life. And I'm very excited for this adventure, and I can't wait for my life to just start changing for the good. Like, it has been, like, there are some things that I didn't realize that, things that have been taken away from my life was needed. And I am so grateful now that I realize that, those things were supposed to happen for a reason. And if they weren't, then I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So shout out to all of my people that have been a part of my life so far and have been very supportive in, my mental health and trying to just make life a lot more peaceful. And honestly, if you guys want to talk about anything, send me a message, comment down below, subscribe, like, share. I'm thankful for all the people that do like my video as well as listen to it. I'm honestly just making these videos for kind of myself as well as for those 20-year-olds that don't know what the fuck they're doing, because girl, I don't either, but we gonna figure it out together. So thank you guys for listening, and until next time, don't forget to be unleashed, unfiltered, and unapologetically human. Bye guys.